Interesting stories. Interesting people. Welcome to the Humble Badger Podcast.
Thank you for listening to this podcast today. Remember to like and follow us at The Humble Badger on Twitter and Facebook, or at The Humble Badger Podcast on Instagram. This episode is brought to you with the help of our promotional partners at Modern Mississauga Media. Modern Mississauga is all about exploring Mississauga through the lens of the 21st century. You can find out more at modernmississauga.com. My name is Pablo Dawson, and I am your host for this episode. And today we're going to do another random fact. Reykjavik is the capital of Iceland, one of the most glorious countries in the world to visit. It's got a very unique environment. I've always wanted to visit there. There's lots of things to see and to do, especially if you're an outdoors person. It's definitely one of the countries on my bucket list. I'd like to know what my co-host thinks about that.
Man, that's awesome.
Do you have any desire to go into Iceland?
Well, I saw some pictures on someone that I follow on Instagram at Brico Music.
That's right.
Who was visiting there like a few months ago. Oh, by the way, my name's The Identity Crisis. I'm the co-host for today. Rapper, singer, producer, filmmaker, and candlestick maker.
Yes.
And oh, by the way, our guest today is the lovely and talented Miss Brianna Corona.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Who was supposed to introduce herself. So.
Well, I'm Brianna Corona.
Tell us a little bit more about you, Brianna.
Well, I'm an artist / musician. I'm not a great drawer, so don't take artists in that sense. But I can if I want to. I don't make very good candles, but I'd love to learn how. And,
I can show you.
I love to travel. I love animals, but mainly just a musician.
Nice.
And you apparently have some experience with travel in Iceland.
I do. I recently went in November, and it was the most incredible thing ever. It was my second solo trip I've ever been on, and I drove the whole country. I was there for 2 weeks. It's just so incredible, like so raw. Just everything is so still natural, which I loved about it. And I'm a nature person, like huge nature person. So it was amazing for me. I just saw so many great sceneries. Like everywhere you went, it's just beautiful. But there's not really anyone there. So if you're a person who likes people and you can't be alone for too long, I'd say bring someone or just don't go because there's like no one there, right? But that's what I loved about it. It was just so secluded, right?
They drive on the same side as we do?
Yeah, it's the same.
And driving there was easy. There was no issue or anything like that?
I mean, not for the most part until there was like sheets of ice on the road.
Oh, really?
Because it was November, so it's kind of like it's still their winter there. It's their starting winter, right? So it got a little bit crazy, but before then, it was fine. Nothing. I mean, I'm from Canada, right? So I know how to drive on the ice. It's fine.
Definitely. So you're a musician. What kind of, tell our listeners a little bit about your music. What instruments do you like to play? What genre of music? And where can they find your music?
Yeah, so it's pop soul is how I like just to describe it. It's not super
Pop soul, interesting.
Yeah, it's not like mainstream pop, but I put a lot of emotion into my songs, I think. And so that's kind of where I get the soul from. And I've had a lot of people tell me I have a soulful voice. So yeah, I kind of just came up with that. I feel like it suits it very well. I recently released an EP and there's a lot of electronic production in that, which I was going for at the time, but I write all my songs on piano. So I do kind of like that acoustic vibe. I'm thinking about switching it up in my new music, but I usually perform with piano, and all the new music I have right now is pretty much everywhere. So if you just search my name, Brianna Corona, you'll find it.
Double N. Don't forget the double N.
And an I, not an E.
Yeah, Brianna Corona, double N. Okay. So yeah. EP stands for electronic play, doesn't it?
Extended play.
Extended play.
Sure.
Okay. Well, because I remember when I was younger, they used to talk about LPs. Now they talk about EPs. So what's the difference? Please enlighten us, Mr. Castro.
Well, EP, extended play, is typically like 6 songs or less.
Okay.
LP is long play, so it's a full length album. So that's what. Then I guess back in the 60s and 70s when they had the records, the LP was the bigger record. The EP was the smaller record because you could fit less songs on the smaller vinyl.
Huh.
I think it depends on the number of minutes too.
That too, yeah.
Okay. So it's funny. Extended play you would think would be longer than just long play.
I know. They listen. They have terms like alternative music.
Yeah.
What does
Alternative
that
to
even
what?
mean exactly? Like, it's so stupid. It doesn't. They got to stop with these. The people that label things need to be fired.
Yeah.
It's just one organization. Maybe it's like 6 people. Like, they're the ones labeling everything.
Yeah, they're drinking bourbon all day though, so that's the problem. So.
Label talk. That's a shout out to my favorite.
So I'm a huge fan of Brianna's music, and I actually downloaded all her stuff. Whatever. I'm trying not to fanboy, but I have questions about, because I think it's known that you're very young.
Mm-hmm.
Your melody writing and your songwriting, your lyricism is on another level.
Thank you.
And you write from the standpoint almost of someone that's much older.
I get a lot of that.
Tell me more about that.
I mean, it's hard to say because I think some of it is natural, it just comes to me. Some of it is like learned, and other things are from experience, so it's a little bit of everything. Like I started songwriting when I was 14 maybe, but I used to write poems when I was younger all the time. And I think I got a lot of like my lyricism from there because poetry is just it's very raw and it's like very abstract and it can be very emotional. So I think that's where a lot of it comes from. But I don't know, like I just try to pull everything I can out of every experience I can. So I'm a very, I think a lot. I'm one of those people who think a lot, right? So it kind of helps almost for me to exaggerate some things in my music, but at the same time, just be real.
Right.
But yeah, it's hard to say. It's just how I do it,
It's awesome. It's so dumbfounding how crazy you write from. Like, I mean, lyricism aside, melodically, you bring something to the table that's not it's not out there. You know what I mean? And it's great what you do. So
thank you.
Just fanboying over here.
Yeah. And you can find out more about those inspiring and in-depth lyrics and melodies at briannacorona.com. On that, to follow up on his question, yes, it's known that you're very young. Can you describe some of the challenges of being as young as you are and navigating a shark-infested industry like entertainment, or frankly, any business at this point?
Yeah.
What are the challenges for someone your age navigating through the business side of things?
For sure. Yeah. I think like it's hard because a lot of people don't take me seriously. Some people do, some people don't. I think they probably take me more serious when they hear my music, just because they're like, oh, she's not a joke. She actually kind of knows what she's doing, right? But before then, they kind of look at me and I look pretty young, and my hair is different colors, it's short, and they're like, what? This is a masked person, she's a masked.
For those who can't see, she has the Pablo Dawson haircut, so it's. I was very touched that she went for that look. I appreciate it. Thank you.
With a dash of pink.
Yeah, with a dash of pink, though. Yeah.
But it's just, it can be frustrating sometimes because it's hard to have a conversation with someone about the music industry when they feel like they don't have to tell you much because they don't think you're old enough to understand or you're not serious about it. But I have more knowledge than they think. And I've been doing it for longer than they may think as well. So I think it's really about like how much you've been working at it and how much you've discovered on your own. So people they gotta stop thinking about that. Like age is just a number, seriously.
Definitely.
You're telling me I'm very immature. So you obviously are very busy doing all this music and everything like that. How does Brianna Corona unwind? What are your guilty pleasures? Do you actually enjoy Corona beer?
It's funny because I don't drink beer. Like I'm not a fan. I don't drink a lot, to be honest, anyway. I only turned 19 last year. Not that I wasn't drinking before that.
That's right.
But I'm more of like a wine person. But aside from that, I really like to run. So I go on a lot of runs to kind of release my stress if the music's not helping. Or my dog. I just spend a lot of time with my dog.
What kind of dog do you have?
He's a cockapoo.
A cockapoo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like my best friend. we're always together. Like I was literally at the dog park before I came here. But it's just spending time with like family and friends. Some simple things. Mainly, honestly, half my life I just listen to music.
Oh yeah.
But nothing like, I'm not super hard to please. I just like to, if I'm gonna relax, I like meditate, run, or play with my dog. That's basically it.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, it sounds like a very balanced lifestyle, which is quite amazing for somebody as young as you. I remember what I was doing when I was your age, and a lot of that stuff I can't say on the radio or whatever we're on. I think it's time for rapid fire. What do you think?
I think so too.
All right. Do you know how rapid fire works, Brianna?
I think so.
We're basically going to fire questions at you rapidly. And you're welcome to pass, but otherwise try and say the first things that pop into your head, and hopefully they're not too offensive. Okay? Are you ready?
I am ready. Are you?
I hope so.
All right. Did you ever believe in Santa Claus?
Yes, when I was 4, maybe.
Oh.
You know, I got a funny story about the Santa Claus thing. My mother actually apologized to me, and for those of you who don't know, I'm a grown-ass man. My mother apologized to me like last year for not allowing us to leave milk and cookies out when we were kids because she said it was stupid when we were kids.
Oh.
And she actually apologized to us. She's like, I should have let you do that. I'm like, Ma, no, I'm glad you didn't let us do that or believe in that. But that's
Because it was going to hers.
Yeah. My question. What's the lamest dessert that people try to pass off as dessert?
A fruit salad. Like,
Oh, I agree.
That's not dessert.
No, that's sacrilege.
Yes,
Both of you get out of here.
100%. Fruit
love
salad
fruit
is not a
salad.
dessert.
Like, you can't just throw some ice cream on top and be like, it's a dessert.
Oh,
Like,
okay. So I
I've
think
been to places they don't even put the ice cream.
Because I understand that fruit is sweet, but it's good for you. Like,
Yeah.
dessert's not supposed to be good for you.
Exactly.
what I'm
See?
saying.
She is more mature than she.
Oh man.
100%, I agree.
Okay. Keeping with the food theme, what is your favorite junk food?
Maybe chocolate. I don't know. Honestly, I don't really eat junk foods. Like, it's hard to say.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I'm a big like dark chocolate fan though. If I
Oh
had to go
well,
for something.
that answers one of the questions on here.
Yes, that's true. Can you name one of the 7 dwarfs? Not as easy as it sounds, is it?
No, I don't know.
Wow.
Honestly, that's just too old for me. Like, that's
And her age finally shows. You know?
past my time.
You could just say pass. You don't have to make remarks about people who are old enough to remember such things.
Here's one. If you could travel back in time, what period would you go back to?
Ooh, I think the 70s.
Oh,
The 70s.
yo.
Why? I'm curious.
It's just like, I don't know. It just feels like my vibe. Like, I feel like that's where I would be in another world.
Yeah.
It was the best music too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
it was a
true,
lot
that's
of great
true.
music, no
Best
doubt.
music.
But I'd go back and take a look at some of the archives from the New York Times. It wasn't
Fair enough.
necessarily
That's true.
Fair enough.
That's true.
the
But I'm a
greatest
crazy
time to
person.
be.
Like, I feel like I should have lived in those crazy times. Like,
How many pull-ups can you do in a row?
honestly, quite a few. I haven't done them in a while, so maybe that's changed. But last time, maybe, man, I don't know, like 30 or something.
Wow.
Damn, she's a tank.
I could do one.
Nice.
I might be able to do one.
Wait, we're talking about the things that the kids use, right? When they
Yeah.
poop their pants.
I thought it was fruit roll-ups. No? Not the same thing? Okay, it's time for trivia. We're going to ask you trivia about Iceland because you were just there, and we've
Yeah.
got information from the Irish. Sorry, not the Irish. I don't know why they sent this stuff, but the Icelandic Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and they said that if you don't answer these questions correctly, you will not be allowed back into the country. So let's hope you get this right.
I hope so.
Roughly speaking, what is the population of Iceland?
Ooh, I think it's like 300,000.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I mean, it's 362,860. That's oddly specific.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm supposed to know that.
I guess there's not that many people there, so they can keep track of them easier. But yeah,
Exactly.
I'll count that as a yes. Yeah, we'll go with that. Are you able to spell the name? Are you able to spell the capital of Iceland, which is Reykjavik? Are you able to spell it for me?
Yes. R-E-Y. wait. J-A-V-I-K?
Close.
Oh, man.
Close. You missed a K. It's R-E-Y-K.
Oh, yeah.
J-A-V-I-K.
Oh, man.
Okay. And on that final question, there was a volcano that exploded in Iceland in 2010. Can you name that volcano or can you pronounce it? Is the key.
I know it starts with an E
Yep.
or something. It's way too long. Like, I'd have to at least see it.
I'll actually take that because
Because she got one letter.
yeah, because the actual pronunciation, I had to practice this and look it up, is Eyjafjallajökull. Okay.
Wow.
So for any Icelandic people that are listening, you can grade my pronunciation, but that's how it's pronounced. It's Eyjafjallajökull, and this volcano erupted in 2010, disrupted flights for
I remember that.
like weeks. So yeah. But of course, Brianna was very young, so she was only playing with paper planes at that point, and so not yet going to Iceland. I want to thank my guest, Brianna Corona. You can follow her at briannacorona.com, like you can get all the information from there, or at Brico Music on most platforms. And please take a listen to her new EP called Words.
Yes.
That's right. So thank you very much for being on. I want to thank my extraordinary co-host, special guest co-host, as he likes to call himself, Paul Castro, a.k.a. The Identity Crisis.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And we'd like to thank our promotional partners at Modern Mississauga Media. Visit them at modernmississauga.com. If your organization is interested in sponsorship or promotional partnerships, please contact us. For any inquiries from anyone, visit thehumblebadger.com for contact information or send us a message through social media. Thank you for tuning in. I'm signing off from the set here at Trax Ahead Recording Studio. My name is Pablo Dawson. Wherever you are and whatever you do, remember to follow your passion.
Thank you for tuning in to the Humble Badger podcast. For more information, please visit thehumblebadger.com. The Humble Badger podcast is produced by the Pablo Dawson Company. Context matters. See you next time.